They sold my family's 3,500-acre farm while I was standing beside my wife's grave. No warning. No judge. No mercy. Just a signature, a rubber stamp, and 70 years of blood, sweat, and dirt erased like it never existed. By the time I found out, the land was already gone. And that's when I realized. They didn't just make a mistake. They declared war on the wrong man. My name is Daniel Hart. I'm 59 years old. A former property attorney. And the third generation to run Heartland Ranch, a spread of rolling hills, cattle pastures, and creek-fed meadows stretching across 3,500 acres in northern Arizona. My grandfather bought this land in 1951 for pennies an acre. There were no roads. No fences. Just dust, wind, and coyotes. He slept in a truck for the first year while he built the first barn by hand. My father turned it into a working cattle operation. I grew up branding calves, fixing fences, and learning that land isn't something you own. It's something you protect. My wife, Claire, loved this place more than anyone. She said the sunsets made her feel safe. That the wind through the grass sounded like home. When cancer took her, I left my law firm in Phoenix and came back here full time. I didn't want money anymore. I wanted quiet. I wanted the land she loved. But peace doesn't exist when greedy people smell profit. 2 years ago, a luxury housing development started creeping toward my eastern fence line. They called it Sunrise Ridge Estates. 200 beige McMansions with golf carts, private security, and a brand new homeowners association. At first, I didn't care. They were miles away from my ranch. Then one morning, a woman in a white SUV parked at my gate. She stepped out wearing a tailored suit and sunglasses that cost more than most people's rent. "Daniel Hart?" she asked. "Yes. I'm Vanessa Cole, president of the Sunrise Ridge HOA. We need to discuss your property." Right there, I felt it. That instinct lawyers get when something smells wrong. She claimed part of my ranch was now under HOA jurisdiction because of a boundary adjustment. I laughed. "This ranch was here before your subdivision was even a PowerPoint presentation," I said. She smiled like a shark. "Oh, Mr. Hart, things change." 2 days later, the letters started. Violation notices. Fines. Unauthorized agricultural activity. Noise complaints. Livestock nuisance. They fined me for cows mowing. For tractors running. For hay bales being visually offensive. Every letter came with a $500 daily penalty. I requested proof that my land was even part of their HOA. They never provided it. Instead, they kept sending bills. I started documenting everything. Certified letters. Emails. Notices. That's when I found out something terrifying. They had held an emergency HOA meeting without notifying me. At that meeting, they approved a special assessment of $72,000 against my ranch for road damage and runoff. A debt I never agreed to. A debt that didn't legally exist. But they recorded it anyway. And in HOA law, recorded debt becomes a weapon. I tried to fight it. Filed formal disputes. Requested mediation. Sent cease and desist letters. They ignored all of it. Then one afternoon, while I was 200 miles away burying my wife, they made their move. They filed a lien. And 30 days later, they filed for foreclosure. I didn't know. No process server came to the ranch. No certified mail reached me. They mailed everything to an old Phoenix office I'd closed months earlier. By the time I returned home, there was a foreclosure notice nailed to my front gate like a death warrant. My heart nearly stopped. I raced to the county office. That's where I learned the truth. My entire ranch, all 3,500 acres, had already been auctioned off. Sold for $48,000. A ranch worth over $8 million, gone for the price of a used pickup. And the buyer? a shell company owned by the HOA president's brother. I stood there in the courthouse lobby, staring at the paperwork. My name was on the deed, crossed out. 70 years of ownership erased by fraud and greed. They didn't just steal my land. They stole my family's legacy. They stole my wife's final dream. And worst of all, they thought I was powerless. That night, I sat alone in the old farmhouse, lights off, papers spread across the kitchen table. I wasn't crying. I was calculating. Because here's what Vanessa Cole didn't know. I wasn't just a rancher. I was a property law specialist for 35 years. And I could already see the cracks in her perfect little scam. The lien was fraudulent. The HOA had no legal jurisdiction. The foreclosure violated 3 state statutes. They had committed criminal real estate fraud. And that meant something very important. They hadn't just stolen my ranch. They had given me the legal right to destroy them. Outside, the wind blew through the same fields my grandfather once worked. The same fields they thought they could take. I made one promise that night. If they wanted war, they were about to learn what happens when you try to rob a man who knows the law better than you ever will. And the next move would change every life inside that HOA forever. They thought it was over. Sunrise Ridge celebrated the day my ranch disappeared from the county records. Vanessa Cole posted champagne photos on the HOA Facebook group. Another step toward protecting property values, she wrote. What she didn't realize. That same night, I was building the weapon that would take everything from them. I spent the next 3 days buried in public records. Title chains. HOA bylaws. Tax filings. Shell companies. The deeper I dug, the uglier it got. Vanessa hadn't just stolen my ranch. She had done it to 4 other landowners over the last 2 years. Same pattern every time. Fake violations. Fake special assessments. Fake liens. Fast foreclosure. Then the land sold to companies tied to HOA board members. They were laundering real estate. It wasn't an HOA. It was a criminal enterprise wearing a golf cart uniform. I brought in 2 people I trusted. Mark, a retired investigator, and Rachel, a title lawyer who had helped me win cases for decades. Within 48 hours, we found everything. Forged signatures. Dead surveyors. Backdated filings. And something even better. Sunrise Ridge HOA was $412,000 behind on property taxes. They had been pocketing HOA dues instead of paying the county. Which meant one thing. They were legally vulnerable. Here's the part they never saw coming. Arizona law allows landowners to form agricultural preservation districts. Those districts have the power of eminent domain. Meaning, they can legally buy land in their boundaries for government-assessed value, not market value. And HOA developments are not protected. So I did something insane. I filed to create the Heartland Agricultural Preservation District. And guess what sat right inside its boundary? Sunrise Ridge Estates. Every single HOA home. While the county reviewed my application, Vanessa kept acting like a queen. She told residents their HOA had defeated a greedy rancher. She raised monthly dues. She planned new development. And she had no idea she was standing on a legal trapdoor. 2 weeks later, the county approved it. My district became official. And that meant I now had the legal authority to buy every HOA home for $620 per lot. No negotiation. No vote. Perfectly legal. I waited. Let them feel safe. Then I filed the eminent domain action. The notices hit every mailbox in Sunrise Ridge at once. Your property is being acquired by the Heartland Agricultural Preservation District. People panicked. Phones exploded. The HOA office flooded. Vanessa called me screaming. You can't do this. I laughed. You taught me how, I said. At the emergency county hearing, Vanessa tried to play the victim. She talked about property values, families, fairness. Then I took the stand. And I dropped everything. The forged lien, the fake foreclosure, the shell companies, the tax evasion. The room went silent. Deputies stepped forward. Vanessa was arrested in front of her own HOA members. Within 30 days, every house in Sunrise Ridge was legally transferred. Families were forced to move. The HOA was dissolved. Vanessa Cole went to prison. And I bought back my ranch for less than the price of a used truck. Now Heartland Ranch is protected forever. No HOA. No developers. No thieves. Just land. Just legacy. And justice.